Well, let's see if I can get that just one more try. Give me one more shot at this. There we go. A little bit better. I don't know. I feel like sometimes I'm out of touch with my own material here. So, welcome back to Trek United. I am one of your hosts tonight as we get on in here. I have the crew of United joining me. The victory, of course, United being the station, the ship being the victory, which is our official United Federation of Trekkers chapter. Joining me is my first officer and our Klingon advisor. Great to have you here on the show, first of all, because I've been trying to get you on the show for a while, and then we had the shutdown, and then we had all this other stuff. So it is great to have you here today. As we go into episodes 4 and 5 of TNG. Now, I've just recently got off of Enterprise. For some reason, I wanted to go back and I wanted to. And as I got to season 4, it slowly started to kind of drag a little bit. And I was kind of like, okay, we just got rid of that whole Zindi thing. The first 2 seasons were really nice. I really enjoyed them. But then we get into this whole Zindi thing, and I'm like, yeah. And then season 4 hits, and this is the last season. And for some reason, I was like, oh, this is going to be so. It was like two or three shows are like 2-parters, and I'm like, you didn't really need a 2-parter for that. So coming back to TNG, I've said it before. It's sort of like a safety net. I don't know why I feel like that with TNG, but it's like a little safety net. You know what I mean? It's comfortable. It's familiar. Even though it kind of, you got the Wesley and Data show most of the time, it's still that comfortable net. And I don't know if it's because they were all real good friends and that kind of translated over versus everybody else that's kind of hate each other or just tolerated each other enough to get the show done. You know what I mean? TNG really has a special place. So, as I talk about that, let's see if I can get this up here. Oh my God. I started with this episode and I was just kind of like, oh yeah, I remember it. But again, not as bad as, certain things could have been. So here it is. Let's see, get it a little bit bigger there. There we go. The bravado, first of all, of this human. The swagger he had. And I try to remember, this is 1988.
Well, if compare his swagger, he was the Pirates of the Caribbean. He was Captain Sparrow of the Stars. He had that swagger. He had that presence about him, that confidence, long before Pirates of the Caribbean came out. But it was a very similar performance.
Yeah, I love the way he talked to Worf. Remember what it took to take me from your arms. And I was like, okay. Okay. I don't know. Again, this is what it meant. Even humans feared Klingons. You know what I mean? It was like, just remember what it took to take me away from you. It took a Klingon,
Mm-hmm.
going. I want to. I want to. But as out of respect for my first officer, I'm not going to put my man. Oh my God. Anyway, so you're right. I think he had a little bit of a swagger, and then of course the whole storyline. Again, it's something uh, that was written a lot better than a lot of today's sci-fi. Um,
Mhm.
Storyline, you know what I mean? Uh, you know, Romeo and Juliet-ish, you know what I mean, for
Mhm.
Yeah.
space.
You see that.
Um, Vonda, what was your what was your take on that?
I kind of agree. When I first saw who was in this episode, I was like, "Oh yeah, I remember this episode." I thought it was okay. It really wasn't one of my favorite ones. You know, looking at Data, which I know you mentioned, Wesley kind of being in forerunner in a lot of the episodes. I kind of feel that way about Data. Just because, I kind of got tired. And I know this is season two, but I kind of got tired of, oh, I need to learn this, I need a little that. And just now, after watching, the series and, watching the movies, and it makes me think, oh my God, we're still doing that. Even though we aren't officially, since it's just season two. But, I think for me, the movies kind of made me stray towards Data a little bit. I kind of don't mind Wesley as much, where I kind of have a little hate on Data. I hate to say it. I did like Guidance talking to Data with the laughter thing. I thought that was interesting. Telling the joke, going to the holodeck and stuff. So I thought that was, you know, neat. Even though Data was the forerunner of this episode. But I can definitely see where you said kind of the Romeo and Juliet, where one family didn't want them to be together. Actually, both families pretty much, and thinking that the other guy, Okega or Nora, whatever his name is, got the girl pregnant. You know, he turned out kind of being the good guy, pretty much in the episode, trying to
Mhm.
help them both out, even though, he was portrayed of being a player, even though,
Scallywag.
yeah, he definitely was. But in this instance, he was trying to do a solid, even though it was for money. So, yeah, would I watch the episode again? Not really, because I literally
No.
saw his face and I was like, oh, huh, huh. But sometimes I'm finding myself, and I hate to admit this, but watching it now as an adult, I kind of nitpick some of the episodes a little bit more where I didn't feel that way when I watched it back in '88. I mean, I was in high school, and, with Star Trek, and I was a fan. I was like, oh my God. Where now I'm like, oh, this is a little lame. I actually kind of felt that when I rewatched Battlestar, the newer episode, the episodes. I did not like it the second time around, where I loved it the first time around. And even though
Well,
well, go ahead.
yeah, I did the same thing you did. We loved season one, and then what? Season 1.0 or 1.2 or 2.1 or whatever.
Hmm.
But then when everybody became a sideline coming around the second time, I was like, garbage. Can't.
Yeah.
And I went back to the original again, safety net. We were introduced to new words, Felker carb, and you know what I mean. It's I don't know. I From the nostalgia point of it, maybe it's just the fact that the world has gone enough to where we want to go back to a simpler understanding of what things were.
Hmm.
It's even with TOS, um, you know, it kind of Joe Piscopo made this episode for me. All right, Rob. Um, I don't know. I'm still the older stuff still kind of hits pretty good, but like you said, you ooh, you cringe a little bit.
Yeah.
When we did the episodes with Deanna, with the lights going all up her and whatnot, and then she's impregnated, I'm like,
Yeah.
what are we doing here? You know what I mean? And this was okay. But not do that now.
Oh yeah. No.
You know what I'm saying? You can put a Klingon in a skirt, but you can't run no lights up some girl's leg. you know, um, and then there was this thing of, where Star Trek is breaking these boundaries. Remember, because like in that same episode, I'm having this baby. We'll be dropping you off at the nearest starbase,
Right.
under security, and you can have your baby there.
Yeah.
This versus, again, I hate to pick on it, but Strange New Worlds and the commanding officer of the flagship of the Federation.
Still talking about that last episode.
What the hell are you doing? You are Christopher Pike. You are the man who is going to do these things, and people are standing up and they're just mouthing off to you, and stuff like, Chris, when we're do something, Chris, do something, Chris. But that was one thing I did like about Picard and Kirk, because no one really kind of challenged Cisco, and when they did, he set that shit straight right then and there.
Oh yeah.
Kirk, hey, you leave that bigotry in your room, mister. Don't bring it on my bridge, So you have these dynamics, and everybody keeps saying, well, Star Trek is woke. Please stop using that word. It's not woke. Star Trek was socially conscious. And when they delivered a message to you, the message was there. It was up to you to figure out what that message was. They didn't beat you in the head with it. Yeah. Here it is. Here it is. This is the message. It wasn't like that. It was subtle. It was, and then, that seems a little familiar. What's going on here? Throughout all this stuff, that's what we had. Like you said, the guy turned out that he was trying to do the good thing. I'm still glad that people can get pregnant and even in space, they're still doing it off to the side. We got caught doing it. So, but it's just one of those things now that the appreciation of something that we didn't appreciate. Because I'm going to tell you now, I was running the gauntlet of being free and going over here and being over there, but I did take the time out to watch Star Trek, but I didn't appreciate it. I really did not appreciate it. For some reason, when you're young like that, you think things will go on forever and you don't really care. I think the thing for me is we had a DS9 ending party, and we all got together, and they made blood wine with vodka and cranberry juice. And that's a very, very terrible combination for people to be drinking.
Yes.
And we had little steins of beer, and we're just cheering this thing on. And that's the greatest memory I have of DS9, besides meeting Terry Farrell twice. That just, what I mean, is the end all be all for me. So when I got to watch Picard, wasn't really a big TNG fan, but that last season truly was a season for the fans. because Star Wars sure as hell didn't get one. But we got them back on the original ship, all of them. And I was just like, my God, that's kind of how I guess we would all want to kind of go out.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
you know, with friends on that ship all together for one last time before you say goodbye or whatever else. And again, it was great. It didn't have all the politics of season one for Picard. Season two, I checked out. And I just couldn't do it. Came back for season three, and I get Worf saying his Slayer of Gowron, and I was like, "Oh my
Mhm.
God, this is what I'm talking about." And then he offered her tea.
Right.
But
It's a
these
good, good,
episodes,
good show. That good one.
right. But these shows are really, you know, I didn't appreciate them now, and I get to go back and I get to appreciate them again because um, there are so many different facets. We're going to continue. I would have preferred that we did uh, TOS. Me and Bob got in there kind of late, and we started with this one. So we're just going to go through them, hit the last two on the end. Um, Discovery is going to be tough, but I'm going to get through it somehow. I'm gonna get through
Good luck.
it. But all right. The comedian episode, the comedic thing about it, like you said, Data and Wesley always. For some reason,
Mhm.
I mean, Gene really had a thing for these two characters. Was a big Data fan. Like I do agree with you. It seemed like it just carried on the way too much with him, and then Wesley was gone, and it damn sure really went to him.
Mhm.
Everything about Data, and I was just kind of like, I'm kind of over that.
Yeah.
But your next episode, now this was a little weird for me. Uh, Mr. Advisor, your thoughts on this episode?
Uh, the next one, loud as a whisper. You know, it like most things, it was a unique take on the story. That's one of the things I think TNG had was most of their plot lines were pretty unique in the first couple of seasons. You know, you still had the original writers from the original series working on TNG at that point. They hadn't left yet. Uh, and Roddenberry had a very humanistic aspect to everything in his that was what he brought to the episodes, was a very humanistic point of view. And like you said earlier, you took that and then you did whatever you wanted to with it. You interpreted that however you wanted to. Um, it was a very different. You know, you've got the whole deaf mediator. He's got his little trio there going, and uh, I find them. I find most of season two, especially the early season, to be kind of difficult to watch. Um,
Mhm.
some of the plot lines were pretty foreshadowed. You could see it pretty well coming. You know, nothing really took you by surprise in the episode. Okay, you knew what was going to happen. Um, I thought it was a really interesting way to portray the deaf community and try to bring that into the show and try to bring that community into the light, because that really didn't happen a whole lot back then. That's something that I think
Mm-hmm.
Gene tried to do a lot, was try to uh, bring
Yeah.
different community groups that you don't normally see in TV
Yeah.
onto the screen, and that kind of gives you a glimpse. Flawed as it may be, it still gives you a glimpse that that's an entire community right there. That's a way of life, and one that we as hearing folk are not aware of, that we do not understand the complexities of. Um, but I don't because I still don't consider either of them to be bad episodes. You know, especially when you compare it to the I can't even think of the words, the adjectives I want to use in public for those shows that that are being forced upon us. You know, when you get to the discovery part of that, you let me know how that turns out because I don't think I'll be joining you for that because I,
Wow, it's
I
track though.
I don't have enough blood wine in this entire planet to get me through Discovery. I'm not sure I have enough to get me through one episode of Discovery. And if you want to do multiple, my friend, I will not be doing that in a sober state of mind. I will be the giddiest Klingon you have ever seen.
Well, look, we got one now that's kind of, and you know what killed me was that the fact with that one, they forgot that this is a spinoff of Discovery. Now, Discovery is not in the prime timeline. Kurtzman has already come out and said, no,
Correct.
this is the Abrams verse,
Right.
which, to my relief, because I keep saying this, and I'll keep saying it. You don't need to keep reaching back to solidify yourself. You can do that with your own take because you had this burned. It burned down everything before it, which again, reminiscence of Star Wars. Burn it, tear it down if you have to. And I'm like, please stop with that mess.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Well, you're not a Star Trek fan, so be quiet. You in the peanut gallery. I think though, seriously, I think when they get to the new that new timeline, which is the Academy timeline, I think Discovery will probably be a lot better for me because you don't have all of this before, you know what I mean? You don't have that. And that's what I liked about the first episode of Starfleet Academy. I was like, this is pretty good. Then the second episode came and I went, then the third episode came, done. I'm done. I can't. I'm done. I didn't even finish the episode. I'm done. Can't do it. I won't do it. Can't do it. I refuse to waste time on it. But I also refuse to sit here and just like dog it because it could. Well, they're not going to be able to turn around. It's already done. For those of you who think it's not, and well, it's got a second season. That second season they pushed because of the sale beforehand, and they pushed it out there hoping that the fans would embrace it and it would get all these good ratings. It has not. I'm sorry, that show is gone. It's not coming back. It's gone. There are no Star Trek shows in production currently at Paramount, and if you know what's going on, Paramount just bought Warner Brothers.
It's the
Oh
first
my
time
God.
in a decade. If you look it up, it's the first time in a decade there has not been a Star Trek show in production.
Yeah, yeah. It is definitely marketed. Marky Mark is right. It is definitely marketed to young people.
Yeah.
Oh
And I
yes.
got news for you. You're wasting your marketing material because none of these young people are watching.
Yeah.
Hmm.
They don't watch. They don't buy the toys. They don't buy the T-shirts. They don't buy the posters. They don't buy the books. They don't buy the cookbooks. They don't buy the Funko Pops. They don't do that. All they do is this.
Yeah, yeah. See, she's right. See, that's
Yeah.
it. That
This is it.
this. Yeah,
Yeah. This is
Yeah,
what
yeah.
it
Exactly.
that's that's it. So, you're wasting your time. They push it hard on the TikTok. Oh God, yes.
Yeah, they're trying. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
because that's the younger market. TikTok and Instagram. I think Instagram is now really kind of dying down a little bit. But TikTok is definitely.
Yep.
But again, I would love to see a younger demographic come into the Star Trek legacy to keep it going. But at the same time, understand what the legacy is. Please understand where the legacy is before you jump on this little bandwagon and start going, oh yeah, well we can do this and we can do that, and oh this is wrong. You're wrong for doing that. Well, we were here before you.
Hmm.
when there
Mhm.
was no Star Trek on TV or there was no movies, we
Mhm.
were in the conventions, we were doing the book writing, we were doing all of that.
Yep.
And
Mhm.
again, our advisor can tell you because he's been doing a lot of these conventions for a good what 3 decades more.
Almost four. Yeah,
Mhm.
almost four
So
decades.
you know, it's I get it. People want different facets. They want their lower decks. I just, I don't like comedy in my Star Trek. If I want Rick and Morty, I'll go watch Rick and Morty, which I'm a huge
Right.
fan of.
Yeah.
So, um, but I get it. Different people like different things, and that's cool. But I'm I'm really fascinated, like you said, with the Death Ambassador and seeing, like you said, people with disabilities being on the show. As a matter of fact, that's when we started talking about Pulaski was talking to Jordy about his vision.
Hmm.
I can get
Hmm.
you these eyes. I can do that. But that wouldn't be me, and this would give me headaches, and I'm fine just the way I am, and da 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 da. Overcoming the tie in with the hard series.
Hmm.
Oh, well, okay. Um, I just prefer season three. Um, I mean, I did like the fact that Picard had Romulans running through his vineyard. I thought that was pretty cool. And the one lady seemed pretty taken with Mister Jean Luc Picard.
Yeah. Yeah. She was.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Just saying. Then
But the end of that, the ending of that, the ending of that Picard, where like you said, where they went back to the Enterprise D. I know quite a few people that tell me that was cheesy and how they put it together, but I thought that was the most endearing thing.
so
I was I jumped out of my seat when I saw what they were doing and they were coming back, and I thought that was absolutely the way to end that, to bring them back on their ship, on their bridge, and let them go out fighting on that ship. I thought that was fabulous, and I loved looking at the amount of work they did to replicate that set.
yes,
Yeah.
The detail that Akuda went to trying to get all the details right, even downgrading their technology so that they could replicate the old tech, the old lighting effects. But see that dedication is to what you spoke of earlier. Those of us that saw this Star Trek from the get go, saw it when
mm-hmm.
it first started. We have that kind of dedication to be authentic. We buy. I buy those toys. I'm not going to speak for anybody else. I buy those toys and I buy those items from Jim and everybody because I remember those days. I remember when we had the toys and I couldn't get them then. And let's face it, like the rest of you, I was a teenager when those things came out. So let me tell you what. Now I got adult money. It's 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 a terrible thing for my wallet, but I'm gonna tell you what, it makes me happy. But yeah, I'm not watching TikTok. I'm looking at the things I've collected and enjoying the toys I've bought,
Hmm.
and going back to the memories that brings to me. And I agree. I like the later season. Season two was still a struggle, but again, it really took a different. It took different paths. When season three started, that was when Gene Roddenberry took a step back too. And
Yeah,
so the writers were kind of you can kind of see a shift in how the writing was done and how the stories progressed. I think this was a great show to put a deaf person out there and make sign language an integral part of that storyline.
Yeah.
That's how they concluded that story. That's how they solved that problem. So I thought that was a very interesting take, but it was a very humanistic Roddenberry plot line that I thought was pretty good.
most
Actually, I
definitely.
like this episode better than the first one that I
Yeah,
watched.
Oh
agreed.
yeah.
It was much better. Comparing, like you said, with Jordy and his visor, to the sign language, I thought it was good. I was a little, with Data not already kind of knowing a little sign language. I think
Mhm.
I can't remember if it was Riker or Picard, but they were like, hey, don't shouldn't you know this, or shouldn't you know sign? And I'm like, okay, this is Earth sign language. That doesn't mean everybody else should know, but I did kind of feel like Data should have known just a little bit on it, even though it took him no time to understanding it. But that was just me being nitpicking a little bit to the episode.
Well, no, I say this all the time. It's so hard to have a writer know that, hey, certain expressions won't be used in, you know Data is no C3PO. In certain, contexts, right? So, it's like here it is again, you have Starfleet Academy using today's slang.
Yeah,
You're 800 years in the future. We don't say things that were done in the 1800s anymore. You know what
true.
I mean? Technology has evolved to the point where certain words or certain things are obsolete. You know, like, oh, he dropped a dime on me. No one says that anymore
Yeah.
because dimes don't go into telephones anymore. There are no more phone booths anymore. So you know what I mean? I don't like that. Don't start, using today's technology. And then the jokes. He's a master debater. Oh, give me a break.
Yeah. A little
Give,
bit
give, give me a
overkill.
break. It's poor writing. It's you're dumbing it down because you want these kids to watch it and relate to it, but they're not watching your show. It doesn't matter how many cute young people with various sexual orientations that you put on there. No matter what the size is, I got a friend of mine that when we talk it, and he goes, man, Starfleet is supposed to be the best of the best, the best of the brightest, and physically fit. Why do we have big people? And I said, because they want inclusion. And he goes, yeah, but that's not Starfleet. I go, it's not Starfleet because of the burn.
True. True.
So maybe now they're trying something new. Think of it that way. And if that doesn't work for you, don't worry. Our timeline is still in store because that's in J.J. Abrams' universe.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Ooh,
don't take it that way. You know what I mean? Marky Mark, I still use a rotary phone.
you can't even find a house phone.
Right? How do you get one of those anymore?
If he didn't work for the
Oh,
cable company, we wouldn't even have one. And who knows where it's at? It died. We have no clue where the cell, the cordless phone is at. It could be anywhere in this.
I mean, they will never know the struggle of cutting the phone off in your parents' bedroom so you can talk on it late at night. You know what I mean?
With a long
Stretching the
phone
phone
cord.
wire
Yes.
out. Yes. You had that in your kitchen. I had that 12-foot phone line that I could reach from my kitchen to my front door.
Yeah,
And your mama would get so aggravated, she'd yank the phone back and you whoa.
yeah. Oh my God, the the struggles, the struggles. You're getting bad. It's getting hard to write when Spot gets more screen time than the regular cast. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. It. But again, this was a more interesting episode to me, like you said, than the other one because of the sign language and the
Mhm.
intricacies. But younger me would have been just say something. Can we? What is going on here? You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
Right.
impatience of not seeing a subtle nuance of this is kind of progressive in a way because it's another side of humanity that we've kind of pushed to the back because it's a disability,
Yeah.
you know. But it's sadly, it's a thing that we do, of course, because again we're young, and it's sad that these episodes won't be cherished as much by the younger crowd as they are for us. They're really trying to get rid of TOS as far as William Shatner and them and all that because of he's a toxic male, that whole thing. you know um I wish they kind of would have followed the TOS a little bit, because at the last episode, which was I think Turnabout Intruder for TOS,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So you remember when Kirk goes into the female body.
Mm-hmm.
If you have not seen William Shatner act like a female, you really need to. This is something that will make you laugh, and I suggest you drink. Makes it a lot funnier. I mean, he's kind of he's grabbing people and he's whispering and talking to them and whatnot. It's really a treat. But there's a line that she says in there that the lady she's jealous because Starfleet won't let a woman command a starship.
Mm-hmm.
Go back to Enterprise, the second ship is commanded by a woman.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of like, wait a minute. What happened? Did she do something to wreck something where hey, we ain't having no women up here.
No,
You know
not
what I
you.
mean?
Yeah.
So again, they could have, for me, they could have addressed that. I get it. You're trying to be progressive and you're trying to do something else, but then you kind of rewrite the lore. And I'm a kind of a stickler for the lore. Don't
Yeah.
say this here and then try to go back and kind of retcon it by saying this, and there she is. You know, um, remember now, Captain Kirk was the youngest person ever to
Yeah.
become a captain.
Yes, yeah.
TNG turn around, they made it this young black woman, and then she got killed because she was an alien.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, wow, she was the youngest. She was a black woman. And then she get killed by an alien. So I mean, she still gets the right of she's the youngest ever,
True.
Right.
but Captain Kirk is still a legend. No, there's no depending. He's still a legend. This man has saved Earth more times than most of us, can count.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And to just because it was a different time, you want to shovel it under the rug and then reintroduce to this new Kirk and kind of like course correct him and make him a little bit more PC, I think is wrong.
Yeah.
Well, that's that
I like
pandering to
Kirk
the
the way he
younger
was.
crowd. That's that
Yeah,
pandering to the younger audience.
yeah. Again, an audience that isn't buying your merch or watching your show.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but unfortunately, I don't know how everyone feels about this, but this is the deal. Paramount is run by somebody who wants to make everything a little bit more male centric again.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna happen. Again, I get tired of there she is. Matt Sinclair, first black captain. Is that the one that was on the Saratoga? Remember, she was on the.
Yeah.
Was that the Saratoga?
Yeah.
The
Yeah. She was.
solar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and the movie. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. In the movie,
Yeah.
yeah.
I can't remember her name. Yeah.
yeah, and she kind of went out the same way,
Um.
respond, please.
Yeah.
Respond, please. And then, so again, not very, you're killing off all these women. Oh, she
Mhm.
lives. Mars says she lives. So, okay, so they restored power to the Saratoga and she lives. Okay, cool. Uh, you know, um, I, I, my favorite female captain is still Janeway. Um, I don't know why it is that way, but it's that way. I like Janeway. Um, I know a lot of people don't, but I like Janeway. I thought she was sassy enough to do what she had to do, you
Yeah.
know. But this is something that we do every 2 weeks, guys. If you like what you're seeing, please come back and join us. Um, of course, to my Klingon advisor, I would love for you to stay on. Come when you can. And uh, I understand that you will not be joining us from Discovery, but what if I sweeten the pot for you?
Oh,
Yeah,
really? And
yeah.
how so? How so?
Well, I mean, we got some events coming up. Maybe we can do a little something,
Okay,
something.
we can we can negotiate this.
We can
Yes, yes,
negotiate.
yes.
Yeah, yeah.
I've got a few vintages of blood wine that if you can happen to find, I would be
Okay. Well, we
I
might have
would
to
be
make
able
that
to discuss
happen. We
this.
might have to make that happen because I'm telling you, I'm excited though because there's one thing I do know about my first officer. She does come up with some interesting points of view to make me go, let me take a look at this again. And that's one of the reasons why I have her as my first officer because when I get the dudes as my first officers, they just seem to kind of, oh, I didn't do it yet. I didn't get around to it. My first officer? No, she's not like that. Where's it at? Why haven't we got this done? What's going on?
Yeah, I have to do that too. I just thought about today's the fifth.
Look,
As a good first officer
look,
should, yes.
Yeah.
I've got everybody. I've already got my people already on this. I don't know about everybody else who didn't sign in and do whatever.
Mhm.
But I've put in for your status. So I already put that in for you and Mark um, to get your rankings in there. I'm just waiting to hear back from command. So we'll see
Cool
what they
beans.
say. You know what I mean? So we get that done. And then we have Blood in the Water at the end of the month. Guys, if you haven't heard about this, this is a great HorrorCon. Uh, I will be there. Marky Mark will be there. I don't know if you're going. Are
Possibly.
you going? Okay, possibly. Cool.
Possibly.
And then, of course, September, there's THC. We will be there as well, reporting and doing all the stuff we're doing. But springtime in the Shire in May 2nd and May
Yes.
3rd. The crew and I will be there undercover on our away mission, checking out the locals, disguised as the locals, as we study them for scientific.
Mm.
I will be there, yes.
All right. So
Good.
we're gonna treat it like an away mission. We're gonna treat it like a away mission. We're gonna, you know what I mean. So uh, I have other news that the other uniform things that we were talking about are coming in. I've got the shipping information saying that they were in New Jersey this morning. So hopefully by Saturday I'll get them. If not Saturday, definitely by Tuesday for sure they'll be here, and then I can give you guys a report. And now, uh, you have your Klingon uniform, so you're good to go. Whatever you.
Oh
But for
yes.
the rest of the crew of the Victory, it's gonna be a shirt. We're gonna have like the polo. I got all the different shirts coming in. We're gonna see how these look. It'll be easier this way um, until we can find somebody that can actually make a proper uniform that will fit everyone and not cost us an arm and a leg.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing. I'm going to have two because I got to have my Klingon uniform now that I have more Klingons around me.
Mm.
And there's one more thing that we can do in case anybody is wondering. Yes, we do have someone that actually can perform Klingon weddings.
That's correct.
So,
Mm.
Yes, yes.
Has
And
done it before.
and I'm owed a wedding.
Oh,
Yes. Yes, I am.
Hopla.
Yes. she's trying to ignore me. She knows she owed me that Klingon wedding. Guys, come back in 2 weeks. We'll be discussing episodes 6 and 7. And again, they're going to slowly start to pick up and getting better because, like our Klingon advisor had said, season 3 is when he steps back. Season 4 is when the Great Bird of the Galaxy passes, and all of a sudden, Trek explodes with all kinds of different episodes that,
Yeah.
unfortunately, they had to tie a little tie around the bust of the Great Bird of the Galaxy so he wouldn't see what they
Right.
were doing to his beloved Trek. But the episode, it just takes off. For me, season 4 of Star Trek takes off. Season 4 of DS9 takes off. Um,
Mhm.
I don't know about Voyager that much, about taking off or whatever else. I do know the last couple of episodes in the series itself were some of my favorites. Barge of the Dead was another one.
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah.
very Klingon centric anyway, but still, Voyager was still an okay show. It was very
Mhm.
entertaining, and it
Mhm.
kept us going. So, uh, as Marky Mark says, at some of these, well, at all the conventions, we'll be doing interviews. So please come say hello to us. We will be walking around at THC and at Blood in the Water. Springtime in the Shower, we'll be there with our own table. We're helping out with the food drive. Um, Guys, please come out, see us, talk to us, shake our hands, talk to us about Trek or talk to us about the fair itself and the food drive. In April, if you need to stop by and drop off a canned good item at Yester Toys, Jim is allowing me to give you 5% off your total purchase of whatever you buy. All you got to do is bring in a canned good to help springtime in the Shire. I'm asking because this is a great thing for the community. The people that put this on entrusted us to help out, and we are going to do our best to do so because Starfleet International believes in charity to the community, and that's all we've been doing since we've started. And now that we've got the help uh, of of certain Klingon influence,
Mhm. Mhm.
I see a very big future. I'm
Oh
hoping
yes.
he will be able to give you some news of bringing back some things from
Mm.
raising things from Stovacor itself.
Indeed.
So
Indeed.
yes, yes, yes. So guys, thank you very much for joining us. I would say something like "live long and prosper," but I'll just simply say we will see you in 2 weeks, and of course, Kapla.
Kapla.
Blah.